Hi, I'm Kate Linder. I play Esther Valentine on The Young and the Restless. And you're watching Ken Boxer on TVSB.
Transamerica Airlines proudly presents Ken Boxer Live. From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live, Santa Barbara's one and only entertainment talk show. Let's welcome the host of the show, Ken Boxer.
And everybody out there, this is Ken Boxer Live, and I'm Ken Boxer. Another great show for you tonight. But before we get to who's on tonight, I wanted to thank some of our latest and newest sponsors. We have joining us on board is The Daily Grind, the 11 Spoonful Yogurt Shop, as well as Giovanni's Pizza. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Starting tonight, I'm going to personally start inviting, every time we have our show, every week, Ellen DeGeneres. If you're out there watching, you are now formally invited to our show. We want you right here joining us. So Ellen, if you're watching, or any of your friends, tell her, come to the show. We want you. It's an open invitation. In fact, we'd love, if you want, I'd be happy to co-host with you down in LA, if you'd like. And you can co-host my show. You know, that'll be a lot of fun. We want you here. Thank you. We want you here. But let me tell you, tonight, already here is an amazing actress. You know her as Esther Valentine for the last 36 years. Can you imagine? 36 years on The Young and the Restless. We have Kate Linder with us, joining us in just a moment. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Palazzo Italian Restaurant, where people don't leave there hungry or thirsty. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. And now, back to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Welcome back, and we're back. Tonight, our guest is the very talented television motion picture actress, Kate Linder. Kate's best known, as I mentioned, for her portrayal of the character Esther Valentine on the long-running soap opera, The Young and the Restless. She's taking time off from her busy schedule to be with us, so let's give it up for Kate Linder, everybody. Thank you so much. How are you? It's good to see you. Well, I heard that you were involved with the Primetime Emmys this last weekend.
Well, actually, it was a daytime Emmy.
Oh, daytime, excuse me.
We, all weekend, let's see, Friday were the Creative Arts Emmys, and I'm presented at that with Christian LeBlanc, who plays Michael. And then last night were the Emmys, the other Emmys.
And is it already broadcasting? Or is it will be?
Yeah, actually, you can see it because it's on YouTube, and okay. I just go right there, and I just saw it today. They have the whole thing right there, and they did a whole tribute to Young and the Restless because it's our 45th anniversary. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So Laura Lee Bell, who plays Christine, and she's the daughter of Bill and Lee Bell, and Bradley Bell, who is the exec producer of Bold and Beautiful, and so they did a whole tribute to their parents, and they showed this whole reel. And it was just amazing. It's really neat to see it.
But that wasn't the first time you had presented, right? You've done that before.
Yes, but okay. I presented on Friday at the Creative Arts. Yeah.
So let's go back in time a little bit. Before Young and the Restless, let's go back even like high school. Were you doing acting back in the day?
This is all I ever wanted to be. I mean, I didn't want to be anything that little girls want to be. I didn't want to be a nurse. I didn't want to be a teacher, a mother, a flight attendant. I didn't want to. I just all I wanted to do was an actress, and my parents were hoping that I would grow out of it because they didn't have a clue how to help me do that. Back then it was very, very different. But they gave me all the tools. They gave me the dance lessons and all that kind of thing. And here we are. I just was on the show for one day. That's all I was hired for, and now, 36 years later, I'm still there, which is fabulous. But I did the plays in high school and all that kind of thing.
Well, why do you think your character has the longevity? 36 years. A lot of people just die off in the soap operas, right?
Well, I believe it's because people can really relate to her. She's kind of like the everyday person. She doesn't dress in the whole glamorous clothes that everyone does there. And also, I think our show is, well, it's the #1 show. It's been #1 29 years without missing one year. And I believe because, you know, when you tune in and you've watched it for years and years, you're going to see the characters that you've grown up with and seen all these years, and we really don't have a revolving door policy, pretty much. So that's good.
Well, tell us some of the highlights and the tragedies of your character over 36. What have you gone through?
Well,
what are some of the things?
Esther, she's been kidnapped not only once but twice. She was kidnapped with Mrs. Chancellor. She answered an ad in a singles magazine and lied and said she was the lady of the house, and of course, she wasn't, and so she had to get Mrs. Chancellor, who was my boss, played by Jeannie Cooper, who was so amazing. So she had Mrs. Chancellor and Mr. Sterling Rex, who was her husband. They had to play the maid and the butler, while Esther got to dress up. So anyway, there he came, Norman, and he was, but he was a bad guy. I ended up marrying him, but I really wasn't married because Mrs. Chancellor didn't trust him. So she hired an actor to play the minister, so I never really got there. But
okay,
she, you know, she's just really bad with me. She doesn't have. She blows it.
Well, would you get to say do you get to say with the writers? You get to help them form what the next what's going to happen?
No. I mean, you know, it's my job to bring Esther to life, and it's my job to say their words. I mean, the writers, they work so hard. Can you imagine writing this show, you know, for 5 days a week, 45 years?
Well, how many pages of dialogue do you have to learn a week?
See, it's really interesting because our scripts are about 80 pages. Now, a primetime show will they'll take a week to shoot 1 hour. We shoot it in 1 day. So that's extremely, extremely fast. And the way budgets are now and everything, you get one take. One take. So you better be on top of it, because you don't want them to stop and do it over because of something you did.
Well, I've got a question I want to ask you about that being one take, but we have a clip.
Okay.
Can you lead us into what we're about to see, this first clip?
Yes, actually, this is fairly recent because this is a clip with Elizabeth Hendrickson that played my daughter, and she was an Emmy nominee, and Greg Rickard. They're getting married, and then Judith Chapman plays Greg's, or his character's name is Kevin, plays his mother, and this is where they're telling us they're getting married, and we're at odds. Gloria and I are, we don't.
Okay,
we're always at
well, let's watch our monitor. Let's watch Kate Linder, everybody.
Gloria, look at this.
I saw it.
It's as gorgeous as you are, honey.
Thanks so much, Mom.
Okay, this has been fun. I'm sure Esther has to get back to work, and I certainly do.
Drink your coffee. We're not done yet.
We haven't picked a date yet.
All right, I vote on June. Oh, 2079.
Mom, we're doing this. A proper wedding.
With a great location, TBD.
With all the people we love, and like it or not, that includes you.
Wait, you don't need to find a venue. We can use the Chancellor House for you to get married.
Really?
Mom, that would be amazing.
Esther, you're brilliant.
You know, maybe you should check with the actual owners of the property. Jill's off gallivanting with Colin. Besides, she would love for the house to be used for this.
Mom, I love you so much. Thank you.
I'm so happy to help. And you should be too, Gloria. Yeah, thank you for telling me how I should feel.
Babe, why don't you and your mom get a bigger table so you can start going over wedding plans?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. I'm gonna say goodbye to my mom since she has to go back to work.
Mom, you know this is a happy day, right?
Yeah, happiest, and that's why I'm crying. You and Kevin have been through so much.
I know, so much.
Yeah, he's your Prince Charming. So I'm gonna throw you a fairy tale wedding.
Thank you for everything. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you, honey.
Kate Linder, everybody. Kate, that's certainly Emmy material that we just saw.
Yeah.
The caliber for an Emmy. You should get the, one of the awards, the Emmy award for that. Let's give it to you. Don't you think, everybody? Yes. Okay, before we saw that clip, I had a question. Walk us through, when you get a script, what happens right after you've got, you've read the script, what then are you doing with the group?
Well, okay, so you get to work. It depends on when your call time is. We have 2 stages that we shoot on. And if you're going to be there both stages, then you'll have a really early morning call, like maybe 6:30 or 6 or something like that.
It's not as glamorous as one thinks.
No. So then you get ready, you go through hair and makeup, and then I really like to run lines, and Jess Walton and I work a lot together. She plays Jill. And Jeannie and I always ran our lines. She played Mrs. Chancellor, Jeannie Cooper. So we'll work on our lines, and then they'll call you down for blocking. And so they'll block it. The director will come out and he'll tell the actors, okay, on this line, you're going to move here, and that line, you're going to move there, and so that's it. Then you go finish getting ready, and then when you come back down to shoot, they do it once for the camera, so it's camera blocking. They do it one time, so the cameras see where you're going to move, and then they shoot it, and that's it. And
wow.
You better
be on, spot on, right?
You better.
It's funny. I interviewed Tony Geary from General Hospital, and he told me, I asked him about his lines. He goes, oh, I ad-lib a lot of the lines. Do many of the actors on Young and the Restless ad-lib, and is it very difficult for you when someone starts ad-libbing, if they do?
Well, some people do. I don't, like I said, the writers really, they take great pains. They write things for a certain reason. So I really try to say them pretty much as written. I mean, there might be a word here and there that doesn't really, if my character I don't think would say it like that, I'll go to the writers, I'll go to them, the producers, and say, is it okay if I change this, or, because I don't think that I should.
Will there always be a writer on the set?
Well, no, they're not really on the set, but the producer, can know whether that will be okay or not.
What amazes me, how many actors have used the soap opera, if you will, as not a practice, but they've got their start in soap operas. Tommy Lee Jones, for instance, is an example. Many of the Young and the Restless people have gone through. David
Hasselhoff actually started on our show. In fact, my very first event I went to, when I first started, 36 years ago, I went to his going away party. That was my very first event that I went to with the show. So. Is
there anyone on the show that's been on longer than you?
Yes, Doug Davidson, who plays Paul, he's been on longer. Eric Braden plays Victor, a couple years longer. Melody Thomas Scott plays Nikki, she's been on. I'm actually the 4th down. So.
Okay. Well, what's the most difficult part of your job when you're doing your scene?
I think it's just, I love every bit of it. So it's just, I want it to be perfect, and, want to do the best I can. And I think maybe the most difficult part is sometimes you have to be there really early. Maybe that's probably the most difficult part.
And what happens, though, if the lines, they don't come? Do you ever have the block?
Don't say that.
Do you ever?
Oh my gosh, don't even put that out there. No.
Does it ever happen? I'm just curious. Does it ever happen?
Not yet. Not till now.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
I mean, actually, no. I mean, well, here's the deal. Here's the problem. It's like cramming for a test, okay? So you have so much, and you just take it all in, and you go over it and go over it and go over it, and then you say it. So then, but like cramming for a test, you immediately forget it, okay? So if they were to say, okay, Kate, we're going to do scene that you did at 6 in the morning, now it's 6 at night, we're going to do that scene again, oh my gosh, I'd be in trouble. Then I'd have to look at them again.
But what about when you look back at your acting 36 years ago. Is it different than it is today? How have you evolved?
Well, in the beginning, the way I started was Esther, when I first came on, she wasn't supposed to be there because I was only hired for one day.
One day. Right.
So I really didn't have very many lines. So she sort of evolved as becoming the comic relief. And back then there was no comedy, just did not exist on daytime, on soaps especially. But I had to do something because I figured if I don't do something with this character, I'm going to be gone. And if I do something and they don't like it, I'm going to be gone. So I have to take a chance. So what I decided, so every time, because I opened the door all the time, right? And if it didn't matter if it was the plumber or Victor or whoever was there, I would just go, gaga over whoever this person was. And started doing things like that. And then I would ask, one day in the script it said, Esther goes out to the mail and gets, goes out to the mailbox and gets mail and brings it in. That's what it said. So I went outside, picked up the letter, I looked around, make sure no one's looking, held up the light, put it in my pocket, walked back in. They didn't say anything. No one ever talked about the letter, wasn't in there. But, things like that. Or one day, or this is really going to date me. So one day I had a Walkman. Walkman?
I remember those, sure.
Okay, so, and I asked them for that, and they gave it to me, and I just started dusting, to the Walkman. So, but during the blocking rehearsal for the camera, I would always do what I was going to do. I mean, I didn't, surprise them, because that would not be good. Like one day, I sneezed. I was dusting, I sneezed. And they didn't say anything, so when we went to tape, I thought that was okay. So then it happened again, I sneezed. They went, cut! Okay, don't sneeze. Okay, but, they thought I had really sneezed. So, they didn't say anything. And then one other day I asked props, because it just said, Esther goes to the door. So I said, could I have a cooking spoon with, chocolate on it, melted chocolate? And they're looking at me like, yeah, okay. So the doorbell rings. I take the, I'm trying to answer the door. I had the spoon in my hand. I have chocolate over me, trying to, those kinds of things, because I didn't really have very many lines. And that's how she evolved. And
great story. We have a clip. Let's watch another clip of you, and let's watch Kate Linder we can watch right now.
Where's Bella?
She's in the anteroom with the nanny.
Okay, I'm gonna go be with her.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
Okay. Esther, I'm so sorry.
Now I understand what Chloe went through when Delia died. Burying your child? No parent should have to do that.
I'm sorry I can't be here in the weeks ahead. You'll need someone to talk to help you grieve, to learn how to live with your loss.
It's okay. I went to my doctor and she gave me something to help me get through this. As if something would ever get me through.
A verse keeps going through my head. A little while, and you shall not see me. And again, a little while, and you shall see me. Because I go to the Father.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss, Esther. You hated Chloe, so spare me your phony sympathy.
That certainly is Emmy-worthy, just want to tell you. But, okay, tell us about, I've heard that you have a parallel career that's with your Young and the Restless career. Is it true that you are a flight attendant on United Airlines?
Who told? Yeah, no, I am, yes.
There's got to be stories. You have to.
I have great stories, but I mean, it's like doing a personal appearance on the airplane, and it's really fun. But actually, one day, these people came on the airplane, and I fly purser mainly, so I'm in charge. I'm at the front door. Okay. So this woman came on, and she said, "Oh my God, it's Esther!" And so her husband pulled me aside. He said, "I'll pay you $50 if you say it's not you." I said, "What?" He said, "Well, I bet her $100 that there's no way that you would be here doing this." And I said, "You're only paying me $50, so I'm telling you." I have had great stories and people. It's really nice. I had our shows all over the world. So one, oh my gosh, this was crazy. We had this group on from another country, and actually was flying from LA to Las Vegas, and it's really, sometimes it can be really turbulent, okay? And so it was so bad that day, the captain wouldn't let us get up. So, so at the end of the flight, he came into me and he goes, "Esther, bad, bad, bad." And he said that because he didn't get anything to drink, you know, on the flight because we weren't allowed to serve. So he was like blaming me for it. But, you know, but it's just been, you know, fun things.
But you've been doing that now for how long?
Well, actually, I just had my 40th anniversary of United.
I'm almost speechless.
Me too. Why? I can't even believe it.
I'm not for the 40 years, but I just, people must be so just surprised to see. Why do you still do it?
Well, a lot of people
why are
know.
Why are you still doing it?
You know what? I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of people believe their own press. And you can't, you know, take yourself so seriously when one day, you know, I'm on the set, another day I get to be here with you, and then on another day I'm serving coffee at 35,000 feet. You know, you're going to not forget who you are.
Sure.
And so I've done that. I mean, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to the show because they've afforded me the opportunity to give back. I'm celebrity spokesperson for the ALS Association. I do lots and lots of charity. I do teas in Canada where I bring up Young and the Restless. We have our 20th anniversary coming up July 15th in Vancouver, and that's for cancer. Okay. And then we have two in Toronto, two for March Dimes, and one in Toronto and one in Calgary that we just did. So,
okay, well, that's amazing work that you do, and we're so happy that you do that. But I've got to ask you a question. What was it like for you to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I mean, they don't just give those out to everybody. So what was it like to receive it?
It's so amazing. I have to go there periodically, make sure it's still there, because I can't. It's really hard to believe. I even to this day, and it's actually, I can't believe it's been this long. It's the 10th anniversary of that, and to find the way I found out was just wild that I was getting it, because I happened to be flying that day, and it was really early in the morning, and I decided I better check my messages because I didn't really tell anyone I was going, so I thought, because I was just going to Denver and back, so I thought, oh, I'll check my messages. And at the time, the mayor, the honorary mayor, Johnny Grant, Johnny Grant, and before he passed away. Anyway, there was a message from him going, "Oh, Kate, congratulations!" And I'm thinking, what? You know, I'm half listening. He said, "Congratulations," because you know I'm trying to get through my message. He said, "Congratulations," and I thought, oh, he must be calling to say about the Emmy, because we had just won the Emmy for Best Show. And then I'm listening, but what? Well, that's nice of him to do that. And they say, "Kate, congratulations, because you are getting a star on the Walk of Fame." I get chills to this day. I was so shocked. I start crying. We haven't boarded the plane yet. The captain comes out and goes, "What is going on here?" You know. And anyway, so to make a long story short, when the people came on the plane and after we took off and the captain announced it to the whole airplane that was happening. So it was amazing. And
in fact, we only have like about 30 seconds. As a matter of fact, not too many people in the soap opera industry have a star in the Walk of Fame. You're one of how many?
I think four.
That's, and think of how many years.
So,
that's another. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Well, you know, time goes by too quickly.
I know. That's
And
fast.
I hope you enjoyed yourself on the show, and also you're spending some time here in Santa Barbara.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Kate Linder, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's our show for tonight. So for our guest, Kate Linder, and for our director, Nick Freddy, and the entire KBL crew, I'm Ken Boxer. Good night, everybody. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Terry Ryken, your broker with a personal touch for all your real estate needs. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. Giovanni's Pizza, the best pizza in Santa Barbara. The Lovin' Spoonful, yogurt at its finest. The Daily Grind, espresso, juice, and deli. Palazzo Italian Restaurant, where people don't leave there hungry or thirsty. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Petrini's Family Restaurant. La Quinta Inn and Suites. Country Catering, Meat Market and Deli. Lido's Takeout. Jack's Bagels and Bistro. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme composed and arranged by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.